Hello there. My name is Jennifer Sinkwitz, and I'm an ambassador with Research Hers. Research Hers is a fundraiser through the American Cancer Society that raises money for women in cancer research. During the month of May, I've rallied up experts in mindfulness, meditation, and exercise to donate workshops and workouts to my YouTube page for your donation. Here with me today is mindfulness consultant, international speaker, and founder of Wake Up Kate, Kate Kerr. Kate is going to lead us into a grounding practice before we have a discussion about what human beings versus human doing and striving means. So Kate, I'll let you take it from here.
Beautiful. Thanks, Jennifer. Nice to see you again. And so let's just settle in and take a moment to just collect ourselves. And if you are sitting watching this, you're welcome to close your eyes, or you can leave your eyes open, whatever's more comfortable for you. And really just take this minute or two to settle in, to collect yourself into the present moment. Maybe checking in on how you're sitting, noticing if it's comfortable, maybe stretching up your spine a little bit. Just getting a sense of your seat in your chair, your feet on the ground, noticing sensations with the soles of your feet, connecting with the ground. Getting a sense of your hands on your lap. And just beginning to feel gravity, feeling gravity right now, letting gravity be an invitation into the present moment. And then slowly but firmly bringing our attention to our breathing. Taking a few slow in-breaths, filling the lungs, feeling them expanding, and intentionally breathing out slowly, feeling your lungs contracting. Repeating that a few times in your own time. And then just breathing normally, however normal breathing is for you. Bringing a gentle attentiveness to every in-breath and out-breath, noticing the sensations of the air going through your nostrils into the back of your throat and into your chest and belly. And really just reminding yourself, as we've been doing, that when your attention wanders away, which it will, this is a universal human reality, our minds wander. So when we notice that we've wandered into thinking or feelings of any kind, we just gently become aware of those without judging or trying to change anything in any particular way. And kindly but firmly redirect our attention back to our breathing. We don't have to have a calm mind or feel relaxed. We don't have to feel anything particularly other than just be here in this present moment. And the invitation as this practice comes to an end is to let it spill over into this short conversation today, bringing as much focus as you can and attention to each conscious breath, or noticing the pressure of your seat in your chair, and grounding yourself throughout this session. If your eyes were closed, you're welcome to open them. And really just notice the shift of that formal practice. And now we're moving into the informal session, and just keep coming back to your breath. Just keep noticing the sensation of your breathing, the sensation of sitting, and even sounds around you. You can notice sounds around you. Notice any stories and then come back to your breath. So.
Thank you, Kate. I always enjoy those. I think we were done, right?
We are. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So today the topic is human beings versus human doing and striving. So you mentioned that phrase in one of our earlier discussions, and it has really resonated with me because I am a human that tries to do everything. And so I keep thinking about that phrase. So why don't you tell us what you mean by that?
Absolutely. When I was first introduced to the concept of human beings versus human doings, it was a real strange reality for me. I hadn't really realized up until the point where I began to practice being more present in my day that I wasn't present. It didn't occur to me that I wasn't present and paying attention while I was doing stuff in my day. But as I discovered and learned through research and through our training in MBSR, we become very aware of this kind of reality, which is true for all of us, which is this wandering mind and this monkey mind, where we get lost in a lot of thinking as we're doing stuff. It's what we call autopilot behavior. It's like jumping in your car, getting to your destination, having absolutely no clue what happened on the journey. That's autopilot.
Or passing that exit, driving past the exit by like 2 miles until you realize, oh my gosh, I went too far.
Right, exactly. And, and it happens. It's quite fascinating to sort of recount how many times that happens in our day. Right down to when we just sit down at our desk to work, right? Most of the time we're not aware of kind of standing up and sitting down. We just do it because we know how to do it. Who cares about standing up and sitting down? But actually, if we're more present while we're doing that, if we're aware of our leg muscles really working as we kind of stand up and our muscles working as we sit down, that's a practice. That is meditation. It literally is as simple as that. It actually has an impact on our amygdala and our hippocampus and our MPC, just being aware of sitting down and standing up, just being aware of walking from one room to another and getting a sense of your feet on the ground, really deeply being present. This is the difference between doing and being. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. It's a shift. So instead of doing your walking throughout the day, where you're literally going, our bodies become a mode of transportation, right? It's simply a vehicle to help us get somewhere. When actually our body is an absolute, is the embodiment of being awake and present, and dropping into our body, actually noticing as we're walking or sitting and noticing sensations in our body, right? Which is why the breath is so helpful. We notice the lungs expanding and contracting. That is mindfulness. This is the practice. This is how we get out of our wandering minds and all the kind of worry and rumination and just come back into this present moment. And in doing so, we are being more in our life as opposed to just doing it, just getting it done. Yeah. We still have to do it. We still have to get stuff done. But wouldn't it be more interesting if while we were doing life, we were more present while doing it, and having some benefit to the stress center in our brain, like calming the stress center in our brain because we just happen to be more present as we're doing life, right? So, and an example of this, washing the dishes, wiping the counters, making breakfast in the morning, making a coffee. These are things we do, but if we were more present while we were doing them, like smelling the coffee that's being made, or noticing the steam coming off the toast, or listening to the tap running and watching the tap running and looking at the bubbles in the sink, that's incredible because you are healing your brain as you're being fully aware of what you're doing without having to actually do anything. It's the genius of it. You don't have to do a thing. You just have to be.
You have to notice it, right? And by doing that, just naturally reduces stress and
Yeah,
probably makes you more happy because you're noticing the small, beautiful things.
it scientifically reduces stress. So this is now proven. So it naturally reduces stress, but we have the science to back it now. It's not mystical or woo woo. It's real. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really is an interesting way of creating so much more positivity in our day, because a lot of what we do in our day is mundane, boring, frustrating, irritating, right? And so the idea is to take those mundane, boring, uninteresting things that we do and bring some curious attention to them. And in doing so, it actually creates this open receptivity where we actually find more enjoyment out of it. It can become a little bit more enjoyable, or at least neutral and not unpleasant. And that's the idea, right? Is the game is to kind of shift more stuff in our day from that kind of unpleasant neutral territory to neutral pleasant,
Yeah.
just by being more present in our life.
Sounds good to me. So what's the striving?
So this is a tough one because we are natural strivers. All of us A-type people, we strive to achieve, and it's really important, right? And so this is sort of a paradox with mindfulness, because when I first discovered that mindfulness is not about striving to achieve anything, it's not about having a goal to achieve something, I was like, wait a minute, but this is nonsense. Just by me training in mindfulness, that's a goal, right? I have a goal to train in mindfulness to become more present, to reduce stress in my life, to boost my immune system, be more creative, improve my relationships, have more empathy with my kids. Aren't these goals that I have in practicing mindfulness? And actually, the paradox is there is no goals when it comes to mindfulness. And we'll practice this at the end of this session. It's simply about practicing being with your moment to moment experiences, bringing some curiosity and openness so that you can meet all the pleasant and unpleasant things that come your way with just this open receptivity, without trying to change or fight or control or waste a lot of energy trying to fix stuff that we might not be able to fix in any way. It's allows us to meet the world with a sense of calmness and preparedness and openness, right? But that's not the goal. The goal is just to be okay with whatever's happening moment to moment. Hence, John Kabat-Zinn's full catastrophe of living, because life is chaotic and we can't change that. We can't change the chaos in our lives. We can't change COVID-19 and this pandemic. But what we can do is meet it with a sense of openness and receptivity and calmness, as opposed to anger, frustration, irritation, and all of those other very normal human emotions that will come into play a lot more during this time. So striving is not a word we use in mindfulness because it sets us up to fail. And it's not about failing. There's nothing to fix, actually. We are perfect just as we are. We're not trying to fix anything about ourselves. We're just trying to be more accepting of ourselves, of who we are. We're not striving to change ourselves. We're leaning into the reality, the truth of our reality, and being okay with that. So we just don't use the word striving. We use words like letting be and letting go and acceptance and openness and compassion and curiosity. We use words like that when it comes, and intentions. We have intentions to pay attention to things. We don't have a goal to get calm, because if you have a goal to get calm, you'll never get calm, because our minds wander. That's a normal human reality. And so it's accepting that our minds wander and being okay with that, as opposed to trying to stop our mind from thinking, because we can't. That is something that just happens. Emotions arise, thoughts arise. We don't necessarily drive all that stuff. Sometimes they're triggered from outside things out of our control. So yeah, striving is
One thing I hear from you often is just being curious of the situations you're in, right? So noticing them and wondering, just being curious about those feelings. And that's what you're saying again, especially this COVID, you know, looking at it with a different set of eyes instead of it being so negative. You know,
Yeah.
it's just what's happening, you know, and accepting it.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to jump to acceptance without something like curiosity, because it's you sort of in beginning with curiosity, it softens the edges of our fear and our worry, and we need to kind of do that first before we begin to open to the reality of COVID-19 and start to become more accepting of it. And this is a natural state for us, right? When we're born curious. As kids, we're curious, but it sort of gets knocked out of us as we get older. So it's
Because we
really
start striving too much.
striving to climb the ladder, which is important. But and that's the thing. Mindfulness ups your game. It doesn't make you softer. It doesn't make you sort of some woo-woo, soft kind of chilled out person. It actually ups your game, makes you sharper, more focused, more. There's a reason why they call mindfulness the new caffeine. It really does make you show up in a fully present way versus a doing way, versus an autopilot way, which is, you can imagine, right? When you're doing something on autopilot, you might not do it as well. You might have accidents, you might have mistakes, you might make mistakes, you might be rushing really fast, you might be, making more mistakes in your day because you're running around on autopilot, as opposed to actually being fully present in your day and moving just as fast. Because this is, yes, you need to slow down, but in slowing down, you actually improve your productivity. So the striving is not what we're teaching. It's curiosity, it's openness, it's acceptance, it's compassion. And Dan Siegel, I was going to mention Dr. Daniel Siegel, who's one of my teachers and a clinical professor of psychiatry at UCLA. He's got a wonderful acronym called COAL. And COAL stands for curiosity, openness, acceptance, and love. And love is can be seen as a bit of a strong word. It's really compassion and kindness, right? And it's a great tool that we can use in our day as we navigate the storms, as we are dealing with the realities of being cooped up in our houses and dealing with families that are just tired of being with one another. We can bring calm to the situation. We can get a little curious, childlike curiosity. We can say interesting in our mind, and this is interesting. Wonder why I'm feeling this irritation right now, but we don't have to change it or strive to fix it. And what happens when we get curious is there's an opening, right? There's an opening in our brain. Our MPC comes online, our medial prefrontal cortex, which is our ability to self-regulate our emotions. We open and start to just be a little bit more accepting of the reality of the situation. And somehow, eventually, this kind of compassion kicks in. Like, we become a little bit more compassionate towards others and towards ourselves in simply practicing COAL. So I was going to lead a short practice on this. To, of course, care of Dr. Dan Siegel, but it's really helpful, and it really does make a difference in these times. So
Great. Well, thank you. Let's do it. Let's do some coal. Is that, can I say it that way, or is?
Any way you like. It's such a strange acronym, COAL, but
Can we practice coal now?
That's it. It's practicing COAL and practicing bringing COAL to your difficult situation. So we practice bringing COAL. And again, you can throw it on the wall just as a reminder to become more curious and open to things that are pleasant and unpleasant, and be more accepting of those pleasant and unpleasant things. And then, you begin to just start to recognize a slightly softening, right? A softening, which in many ways is compassion. So, okay, we'll do this quick practice. My voice is recovering. There we go. And I'm going to chime us in and chime us out for this short final practice. So just taking a moment to settle in, and you're welcome to close your eyes if you like, if that's comfortable, or you can leave them open, and we'll begin. So taking another moment to find our seat and really just come back to this moment, shifting from thinking and the buzzing of our minds to simply being in this moment, shifting our attention into our bodies. Again, feeling our seat in the chair, our feet on the ground, our hands on our laps, noticing coolness in our hands or warmth, tingling, buzzing sensations, and just settling in to our normal breathing as best as we can, paying very specific attention to the sensation of every in-breath, noticing, really noticing the sensation of the air going into our nostrils, the back of our throat, and into our chest and belly. Noticing the sensation of the air leaving our body and our lungs contracting. We're not interfering or striving to breathe in any particular way. We're really just letting our body breathe for us as it does, and attending to our breathing, attending to it with attention, a kind but firm attention. And you'll notice that your attention will wander away. Maybe you hear sounds in the distance. Maybe it creates a story in your mind, an image in your mind. You just notice that gently and firmly but kindly bring your attention back to the sensation of breathing. And when you feel grounded in your body and your breath, a little bit more grounded, the invitation is to bring into your awareness perhaps a difficult moment from today, something a little bit more challenging that happened in your day today, or perhaps if there's nothing from today, something from the week. It doesn't have to be an incredibly challenging event, but just something that you found difficult at the time. Maybe it was with a family member or a colleague or a client. Maybe it's simply something from the news that we've watched recently in the news. And so, as best as you can, just gently holding that in your awareness will bring a little coal to this practice. So, becoming a little curious about this difficult moment in your day. And it can be helpful to gently notice sensations in your body as we do this practice. So, just becoming a little bit more aware of how it feels in your body, very gently leaning into any sensations in your body and breathing, staying focused on your breath, but bringing some curiosity. We can say to ourselves, interesting. I wonder why this was difficult for me. And maybe without trying to problem solve it in any way, We're just staying with our breath and our body, continuing to bring a gentle curiosity and inquiry, a very gentle curiosity and inquiry. You know, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to change about the situation. And then just opening to the reality of it, maybe a little bit. Opening to what happened and just saying to ourselves, it's okay. Whatever this is, it's okay. Let me feel it in my body gently. Let me notice how this feels without trying to change it. Bringing full attention to our breathing. And then just remembering to let things be a little bit more by accepting again that there are things we can change and things we can't, and just being okay with both of those realities. There are things that will be pleasant in our day, and there will be things that will be unpleasant in our day, and that's okay. That's okay. We can meet both of these realities with the same curiosity and openness. And in doing so, become a little bit more accepting of the way things are. And just softening in our body, releasing tensions in every out breath, letting our shoulders hang a little heavier, softening our jaw, our tummy, imagining releasing tensions in every out breath into the ground. And perhaps wishing the people that we may have had a difficult encounter with, whether they be clients or family or friends, perhaps sending them some kindness, loving kindness right now, wishing them well, wishing them good health and safety and peace, wishing them some happiness. And also sending the same loving kindness to ourselves, sending ourselves some loving kindness, wishing ourselves good health, wishing ourselves happiness, ease, and peace. And in a moment, this practice will be coming to an end. But the invitation is to practice bringing a little bit more coal into our lives, particularly when we're facing difficult moments.
Thank you, Kate. That was Perfect. Just what I needed for today.
Fantastic.
Mm.
It's wonderful to chat with you again, and yeah, wishing you lots of moments of being in your day. Wishing myself many moments of being in my day as well, and less doing.
That's,
And
and
yeah,
we'll connect next time.
absolutely.
Okay, thanks again. Take care.